everyone. We have Mr. Toby Max from Juju Games.
Hi,
Hello,
everyone.
Toby.
Hi.
How you
Nice
doing?
to be here. Doing great. I'm doing great. I just had a pitch session and it was awesome.
Right.
Great.
So, from the pitch, you're coming here to tell us more about what Juju Games is.
Yes.
Thank you. So, tell me about Juju Games.
So Juju Games is an indie African game studio based in Nigeria, Lagos, and we're all about telling stories about cultural narratives, right? And we're trying to fuse that with Afrofuturism and also, tell stories about our culture and reflect a side of our culture that has been silenced for so long, right? We've seen several iterations of characters like Zeus, Thor, but we've never seen Shango and we've never heard of Amadioha. And even I could even ask, you've heard of those two names, but you don't know that the Hausa and Fulani folklore actually have their own deities. So these are things that are missing in our culture, and these stories are important because if you look at places like the Greek mythology now, how robust it is and how it influences modern pop culture, we could easily do that with our stories, but we've neglected it for so long. And Juju Games' core focus is to bring those stories back into the limelight, but in an interactive way, so that you can not just read about it, you will experience the culture. And I think that's more profound than anything else.
Wow, this is new. Wait. I'm trying to process everything. Amadioha. Is this where the whole Juju thing came out from?
Yeah. I've actually, a bit of my background, I'm one of the co-founders of Comic Republic. Comic Republic is an African comic book studio. Like, you know how you have your Spider-Man and your Batman and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, well, actually around 15 years ago, we co-founded this company to tell African stories in comic books. And today it's one of the largest comic book companies in Africa. But it's also one of the only studios that has been signed by Universal Studios in Hollywood. So they're going to turn those IPs that we've created, of which I think I've created about 12 or more different IPs. And they're going to turn these IPs into movies to also talk about the culture that is absent. So we've been telling stories for so long, so it's not the first time,
Right. I am amazed. I didn't get to hear his speech, so I'm just hearing everything for the first time. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So is it Juju or Juju? Juju. Okay, nice. Okay, that's true.
Actual Juju. And one of the reasons for that name is that I wanted something that was a little bit controversial to challenge the narrative. So I started with the name.
Right. You're going to get any Nigerian's attention with
Juju.
Right.
Juju be that.
When you said that on stage, I was like, the blood of Jesus.
That's the first reaction. But it shouldn't be so, because in the same vein, you're still saying Thor, and you can say Zeus comfortably, and you can talk about Hercules in Disney. But those are actually the same. It's the same thing. There's no difference between Thor and Shango. If you think about it, there's literally no difference.
That's crazy, baby. I never thought about it that way.
It's the mindset that we've been fed, that our culture is something to be looked at and is demonized. Whereas we're comfortable watching Thor in a Marvel movie. If you think about the actual story of Thor, he's a red-haired giant with 3 faces that eats children. That is the actual story of Thor. In Marvel movies, he's blonde, he's fine, he's Chris Hemsworth with 6 arms. See how Hercules, Disney, he wiped out his entire family in a drunken rage. In the Disney version, he's a hero. And Hades is trying to tempt him and everything, and he's famous and he's a fine boy with curly hair. You see how they've reinvented the culture and made it relevant, whereas we keep demonizing our own. So what's stopping us from doing Shango as a playboy? There's nothing stopping us. It's mindset. That's the difference between them and us. So
this is a lot to take in. It's new. It's totally new. I don't know if you guys are as shocked as I am, but it's new, and something I'm open to knowing and actually seeing the implementation. Yeah. So great work again.
I've actually tried one. I did a story about Amadioha. And in my story, he was tired of being a god, so he retired to take care of his daughter. So he's a single father. Because I thought that was interesting because you see a lot of single mothers. Have you ever seen a single dad and he's a thunder god? That's kind of a weird dynamic, you know. So that's one way I'm trying to also push it. I'm hoping that as Idris Elba is interested in Nigerian movies now, he will look at my side just in case he sees this video.
Just in case you see it, okay? Thank you so much. So I want to know, where does Solana come in all of this?
Well, when we started this project, we've been bootstrapping so far. Most of it has been from our internal funds. And when we try to get funds internationally, there are several loopholes, not loopholes rather, there are several procedures, right, that are not favorable for the Nigerian person. You are facing stigmas in Nigeria. You're also facing several systems that have been cut off from you to even get funding. And we were like, okay, we've been looking for funding for close to 3 or something years, and we've not gotten anywhere in terms of funding. When we put the price out, the investors sort of shy away, not because of the product is not good, but because, you know, Nigeria, question mark, or fraudsters, things like that.
Right.
Where Solana comes in is that it allows us to fund these projects by empowering the community. So we're going to leverage on building the community locally to actually scale this project upwards. So we're building an in-game economy. We're making a multiplayer where you can serve as bounty hunters, hunt other characters, things like that, purchase weapons, and that will help us fast track the whole funding process instead of relying on traditional means, because traditional means you have to it's a very long process. On one of the last contracts we got for funding was so terrible. They hid so many hidden clauses there because they felt, you know, we're Africans now, we won't read the contract. So I saw so many hidden clauses there, but because I have experience with dealing with IP from Comic Republic, I was like, no, you are not going to rope me into this contract. And with what we've seen in the Web3 community in Nigeria, the money that we're looking for outside is inside the country. So why are we stressing ourselves? There are people in this country that can actually cough up $300,000 easy. They will probably spend it somewhere in what's that? Echo Atlantic.
Yeah.
They have the money is there, but you need to prove to them that it's worth it.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do. We build a community. We prove that this is actually something solid. It's not just about money. I think one of the problems that a lot of game studios might have is they focus a lot more on profit instead of building a good product.
Okay.
We want to build a good product that's profitable. So that's the angle we're going. So, you know.
Okay, so I believe that any good business would have competitors, right?
Yeah.
So I want to know, what is your competitive advantage over other game studios currently existing?
My competitive advantage, and not to sound arrogant, is that I'm Tobe Max Ezogo, and I'm one of the most creative people in the country.
To think of Amadio had a single dad, you sure are creative.
Yeah, so I know nobody's going to match that background. I'm coming in from a product-heavy, creative background from Comic Republic. With my experience as an artist, a storyteller, that's my advantage, right? While most people are focusing on profitable products or like building one thing that's going to cash out very quick, I'm looking at the long term. Voodoo is built as a franchise IP. So you know how Star Wars, like you can have like different iterations of games of Star Wars. You can have movies coming out. Animation is on one side. Voodoo is built as a franchise IP so that different products can be running simultaneously, right? So that's our competitive advantage, is that we're spread everywhere else. We're versatile. We can be in mobile, we can be in PC, tomorrow we can be in console, we can be there at the same time. Whereas most game studios will only target one platform because that's as far as their creative capacity can reach. Aside from that, I've got a very, very solid team of people who are working consistently like we don't sleep. If you call me at 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., I'm in front of my system. That's what I'm doing. I'm dedicated to that. So except you can match my work ethic and my hours and my experience, I don't think I have a competitor that I'm running with. That's my own.
So a question just popped on my head right now.
Yeah, sure.
Is there a female deity that you probably like gamified? Is there?
Yeah. So while I was on the pitch, I spoke about Amani Rena's Kandake, which is the second playable character, right? So let me even talk about the two playable characters in Voodoo. There's Bass Reeves. He's named after the African American deputy marshal called Bass Reeves. He was prolific for having over 3,000 arrests. Now he has the highest arrest in history. Like he's one person who has arrested so many people, 3,000. He was so prolific that like people would run into jail to avoid getting caught by him. He never missed a shot, and he was honorable from the beginning to the end, lived a long life. And his story was reinvented to the Western cowboy trope that you see where all those gunslingers are like, shoot. They reinvented the story because he was an African American person. So it's in the 1950 somethings, you can't have a black person leading a movie, so they turned him into someone else. And that bothered me, so I created a character that represented that person. For the female character, I took the story of Amani Rena's Kandake. She's a Nubian queen of Kush that repelled the, Italian invasion of Ethiopia around that time. I'm not sure. But she did repel the Roman invasion, and she's the reason why that entire area was never colonized in the entire Africa. It's the one place that's not colonized if you go and check. And nobody knows her story. She led the war, she fought in it, she had one eye, and she could use a bow and arrow to shoot anything for 1,000 years. She was basically female version of Legolas from Lord of the Rings. But how many times have you heard that story? Up until today, I don't think you ever.
I didn't know about her.
And that's what we're trying to do with Voodoo. We're trying to tell these stories. So we have female characters. I personally am for the idea of like, you hop into the game, you pick the character you want, female or male, the one that resonates with you. One of the things we want to do is we want to create other characters as well, so you can pick the one that resonates with you. We have in the mobile game, there's a character called Ganja. And he has smoke pouring out of his head, and he speaks pidgin and things like that. And these are the little things we're trying, these nuances here and there. You are going to see characters like Shango and Madioha. One of the most interesting characters, I think, is Zevioso. Zevioso is the Benin Republic thunder god. He's the equivalent of Shango for Benin Republic that most people have never heard of also. And these characters are going to be all over Voodoo, so you can pick them. And that's,
Right, I'm so amazed. Yeah. I absolutely love what you're doing. A lot of these dates I haven't even heard about them. Yeah, so thank you so much for educating us. Yeah. So one last thing, what should we look out for with Juju Games? What's popping? What's the new updates that we should expect? That type of thing.
Right now we're still building our prototype, and we're going to launch that soon with the Solana, powered by Solana blockchain, and people will be able to purchase characters, and we're also going to set up a marketplace. So we just starting small and then just build up from there, because you have to start somewhere. So we're looking forward to building a community in the Web3 space, a very large community. Aside from that, we've also got comic books for the same product. So we're branching out in different areas, comic books, animations, games as well. So full package. Brilliant.
Wow, that's great, and I will absolutely be looking forward to it. Okay, thanks so much. I love your creativity and creative as well. So I totally love it. Thank you so much for stopping by at Startup Village, and I hope you have a nice time.